Thanks, John. And I'm Randy Hansen. In World News headline today, activists rejoice as admission delays decision on Keystone XL oil pipeline. An alleged Afghan kill team leader found guilty avoids life term. An HRW charges Assad regime guilty of crimes against humanity. And police beat student activists at UC Berkeley Occupy-related protest. And Occupy Portland faces Sunday eviction deadline. A man dies in self-inflicted gunshot wound at Occupy Burlington. And Occupy protesters disrupt Michelle Bachmann's speech in South Carolina. And a woman's only tent erected at Occupy Wall Street. An ex-banker sworn in as the new Greek Prime Minister. And Murdoch blames former execs for hacking scandal. And Georgia militia members accused of assassination plot. And climate change research group to receive big oil funding. Hawaii activists to protest APEC summit. And Twitter ordered to disclose account info of WikiLeaks associates. But before these stories, GVTV News would like to thank one of our underwriters who supports your only visual video news media in Nevada County. That's right. It's us, GVTV News. In today's first world news story, activists are claiming victory after the Obama administration announced it would put off any decision on approving the Keystone XL tar sands oil pipeline until 2013, well after the 2012 elections. On Thursday, White House said it needed more time to review the route of the proposed 1,700-mile, $7 billion Trans-Canadian pipeline and its environmental impact on Nebraska's Sand Hills region. The announcement was made just days after more than 10,000 people circled the White House calling on President Obama to reject the project. Opponents had objected to the pipeline over its potential danger to the area along its path and its tapping of the carbon-intensive Canadian tar sands oil fields. U.S. Army Sergeant has been convicted of leading the so-called kill team in Afghanistan that murdered civilians and then kept their body parts for sport. Staff Sergeant Calvin Gibbs has admitted to cutting the finger off dead Afghan civilians as war trophies. Other soldiers have said it was his idea to kill civilians and stage their death to make them appear to have been combatants. Despite being found guilty on all 15 counts, including premeditated murder, Gibbs avoided an automatic life sentence and will be eligible for parole after 8.5 years behind bars. At least 9 people have been reportedly killed in Syria after President Bashar al-Assad's ongoing crackdown on opposition protests. The new killings come amidst reports of dozens of deaths over the past 2 days, most in flashpoint areas of Homs. In a new report, Human Rights Watch has accused the Assad regime government of crimes against humanity for allegedly killing of protesters dating back to April, citing what it calls systematic nature of abuses against civilians, including torture and unlawful killings. Human Rights Watch says the United Nations should impose an arms embargo on Syria for top officials to International Criminal Court for prosecution. Student activists at the University of California, Berkeley are calling on a probe of campus police after a violent confrontation at an Occupy-related protest earlier this week. Video footage shows police in riot gear hitting students with batons as they linked arms outside the campus administration building. Protest was part of a number of actions held on at least 10 California campuses. And in Portland, Oregon, activists are facing a weekend deadline to vacate protest encampments at 2 city parks they have held for the past 6 weeks. Portland Mayor Sam Adams says protesters will need to clear out their tents by 12:01 a.m. Sunday morning. In Vermont, a 35-year-old man has died after apparently shooting himself in the head at an occupied encampment in downtown Burlington. Unidentified victim was pronounced dead at the hospital shortly after shooting himself on Thursday afternoon. Burlington police say they have now banned camping at the site. Occupy Wall Street protesters staged an action on Thursday at a speech by Republican presidential hopeful Michelle Bachmann. In South Carolina, Bachmann was speaking aboard a World War II aircraft carrier when about 30 people rose from the audience to drown her out. Bachmann has been a vocal Republican critic of the Occupy movement. She returned to finish her speech after the protesters were removed. New York City Occupy activists have erected a women-only tent following reports of sexual assault at their Lower Manhattan encampment. Alex Borders from Occupy Wall Street said a lot of women felt that they were kind of like their rights were being violated to the extent that they were in the camp. They had people that were actually, like invading their tent space and stuff like that. So they instituted the women's only tent, which is just for women. We have security around the clock now and patrolling the camp itself. Nan Terry, Occupy Wall Street, said it's housing 20 people right now, but it can house more once we organize it. That's why I have the gloves on. I was about to clean up, but my plan is to get more tents for the women, and I'm trying maybe to get 80 by 80 or 60 by 60 tents to put on the other side for women's safety. Greece is swearing in a new prime minister to head an interim government amidst ongoing economic turmoil. Lucas Papademos, a former European Central Bank vice president, will serve a 3-month term before new elections in February. On Thursday, thousands of Greeks rallied behind the Greek parliament calling for immediate elections. Papademos replaces outgoing Prime Minister George Papandreou, who resigned shortly after canceling his plan for a national referendum on an austerity measure demanded by Eurozone countries in return for a massive financial bailout. And James Murdoch, son of the media mogul Rupert Murdoch, returned before a British parliamentary inquiry on Thursday to deny misleading lawmakers over the phone hacking scandal that was consumed his father's company, News Corporation. James Murdoch repeatedly denied he had been given evidence of widespread phone hacking at a crucial meeting in 2008, then placed the blame on former executives who themselves have testified they had made him aware. 4 elderly members of the Georgia militia have been arrested on charges of keeping a hit list targeting government officials. Prosecutors say Attorney General Eric Holder, the thief, and former Congress member and Green Party presidential candidate Cynthia McKinney were listed as potential assassination targets. The group's alleged ringleader, Frederick Thomas, has found to have stockpiled 52 guns and 30,000 rounds of ammunition in his Georgia home. A major U.S. military study group has announced it will begin accepting money from big oil companies and other large corporations after losing most of its funding. The Center for Climate and Energy Solutions was formerly known as the Pew Center on Global Climate Change until the Pew Charitable Trust withdrew its financing for 80% of the group's $4.4 million budget. The new center will be funded by companies including Shell, General Electric, Duke Energy, Bank of America, and others. President Obama is heading to his birthplace of Hawaii for gathering Asia-Pacific leaders at the APEC summit. Activists with the group Occupy Honolulu are planning to march on the summit to protest neoliberal trade deals under APEC, as well as what they call draconian security measures around this weekend's gathering. At a speech ahead of the summit, Secretary of State Hillary Clinton called for greater U.S.-Pacific ties. She said the 21st century will be America's Pacific century, a period of unprecedented outreach and partnership in this dynamic, complex, and consequential region. American businesses are eager for more opportunities to trade and invest in Asian markets, and we share with most nations the goal of broad-based, sustainable growth that expands opportunity, protects workers, the environment, and respects intellectual property and fosters innovation. But to accomplish these goals, we have to create rules-based order, one that is open, free, transparent, and fair. A Virginia District Court judge has ruled the U.S. government can collect private information of 3 WikiLeaks volunteers from the social network site Twitter. The government has subpoenaed all the account information of Icelandic lawmaker Birgitta Jonsdóttir, Dutch activist Rob Gungrip, and programmer Jacob Appelbaum. Thursday's ruling upholds a lower court judgment in March that found subpoena does not violate constitutional protection against unreasonable searches. And that's it for World News today. Now, another thanks to one of our underwriters who supports your only visual video news media in Nevada County. That's right, it's us, GVTV News.
Soundcheck Music Center, the rock and roll connection. We have guitars, amps, drum equipment, sound accessories, lessons, and repairs. We are located at 671 Maltman Drive, Grass Valley. 530-272-7236, open 7 days a week.
There's something happening here, but what it is ain't exactly clear. There's a man with a gun over there, telling me I got to beware.
That's right, it's time for the police blotter. Pictures in the blotter not from these actual events, but used for visual aid only. Grass Valley Police Department on Thursday. 9:44 a.m., a woman reported her daughter had been attacked on Mill Street on October 31st. At 12:07 p.m., a caller from 400 block of Kate Hayes Street reported 10 boys loitering and smoking. They could not be located. At 12:44 p.m., a caller from 600 block of South Auburn Street reported a woman smoking marijuana without a prescription. At 3:26 p.m., a woman from 100 block of East Main Street reported a man stole her laptop. He returned it. 4:52 p.m., a man from 100 block of East McKnight Way reported a phone scam from a cyber crime unit. At 8:18 p.m., a caller from 100 block of Celestia Drive reported juveniles throwing eggs. They could not be located. And Friday, 1:40 a.m., a person was cited on suspicion of urinating in public on East McKnight Way. Nevada County Sheriff's Office on Thursday. 8:51 a.m., a caller from 10,000 block of Goodyear Drive reported a burglary to an office overnight. At 10:46 a.m., 2 juveniles were detained at Nevada Union High School on suspicion of possession of marijuana. At 11:06 a.m., a caller from 10,000 block of Alta Street reported a burglary to a vehicle. At 12:41 p.m., a caller from 17,000 block of Cooper Road reported fraud. At 4:59 p.m., a caller from 10,000 block of Bartlett Drive reported 2 thefts of cash from instructors over the last 2 weeks. At 6:02 p.m., a caller from 18,000 block of Foxtail Drive reported financial elder abuse. At 6:18 p.m., a caller from Highway 49 and Mack Road reported person firing shots into the air. At 6:49 p.m., a caller from McCourtney Road and Limekiln Road reported 2 people in a physical fight. At 9:40 p.m., a woman from 17,000 block Candlewood Court reported a man was throwing a fit and causing a physical fight before leaving. At 10 p.m., a caller from 10,000 block of Walker Drive reported trying to serve papers and having a man come at the caller with a baseball bat and trying to push the car into the street. No charges were desired. At 10:49 p.m., a woman from 23,000 block of Cottage Hill Drive reported 3 dogs were trying to dig under a fence where she keeps her sheep. 2 dogs were picked up. Nevada City Police Department on Thursday. 4:51 p.m., caller from 400 block in North Pine Street reported a man possibly lighting grass on fire. He was arrested on suspicion of being drunk in public. And that's it for the blotter today. Now another thanks to one of our underwriters who supports your only visual video news media in Nevada County. You guessed it, it's us, GVTV. In today's local news headlines, pot shipment leads to New York arrest, and Nevada City to begin process of replacing police chief. And woman takes plea in car burglary case. And some more updates. In a story written by Liz Keller of the Union, a New York man was arrested after authorities allegedly tracked a package of pot from Nevada County to his residence. Nevada County Sheriff's Narcotics Task Force was contacted by local parcel service regarding a suspicious package that reeked of marijuana, said task force spokesman. They had opened it, but the from address was not legitimate, the spokesman said. We couldn't contact the owner, so we let the package go through. Local authorities then contacted the police department in Long Beach, New York, where the package was being sent. After it was delivered, Long Beach police officers arrested Joshua Charzinko, 27, on suspicion of criminal possession of marijuana in the second degree. Long Beach police detectives allegedly seized at least 7 pounds of marijuana, as well as a shotgun and drug paraphernalia. In a story by Christopher Rosacker and Trina Kleiss out of the Union, a Wednesday night's meeting of the Nevada City Council, Councilwoman Sally Harris reported Police Chief Lou Travato has agreed to remain on staff for a reasonable amount of time until his replacement can be found. I love this place, said Travato of his impending retirement. I don't want to leave it in a situation of disruption. Whatever reasonable becomes depends on what transpires, he said, adding he doesn't expect to leave his post by the end of the year. At 70 years old, Travato wished to retire was no secret, Harris told the Union. After Travato transitioned from full-time into a part-time chief of police 2 years ago, he expressed his desire to retire by the end of 2011. But finding a replacement, especially someone able to subset on a part-time salary, is going to be difficult, Travato said. Technically, Travato is already retired according to Nevada City records. In addition to his nearly $50,000 in a Nevada City salary, he collects close to $100,000 annually from CalPERS, the retirement system for California public employees, and from the City of Los Angeles thanks to his nearly 30 years with the Los Angeles Police Department. CalPERS allows retirees to continue working while receiving pensions at the same time, CalPERS spokesperson Edward Fong told the Union. If paid worker is for another position that qualifies for CalPERS, the retiree is limited to 960 hours of paid employment in a fiscal year. City administrators held a meeting November 2nd primarily devoted to dealing with Travato's coming retirement and setting up a timetable for finding his successor, said Katrina Andis, who handles human resources for Nevada City. Andis said the city will begin the search in the next couple of weeks, which Travato estimated will take at least 90 days before a viable replacement can be found. Well, they have an extra captain in the Grass Valley. City manager David Brennan will handle recruiting. The city will offer a $52,500 salary for a part-time chief, Andis said, and no benefits beyond Medicare. It takes a special individual to do that, Travato said. Being police chief is a responsibility that doesn't conform to a time card. If someone is in need, he said he's not willing to say he's already surpassed his 20 hours of work per week and can't help. It's not the best idea in the world. It's better to have a full-time pension, he said. Is that good? No, but we don't have any money. In addition to managing the police force, the chief must also attend city meetings such as those held by its council and occasionally the planning commission. Travato said managing limited time is no easy task. If we find through hiring process that there aren't any qualified persons, or we find that the job requires a full-time position, we'll reevaluate, Harris added. I've been told there are already people interested. Travato is not the only pillar of Nevada City saving the municipality money by working on a part-time basis. City manager position held by Gene Albaugh until this summer and now by Brennan is a part-time position that pays $49,000. City attorney Hal DeGraw, $48,000, and city engineer Bill Falcone, $45,120, are all contracted not to exceed 960 hours per year. A succession committee has been meeting since February, said Harris, to prepare for the departure of all three department managers. To me, it is the most important to make sure that we have management in place going forward. Brennan's contract as the city manager is up for renewal June 2012 with one-year renewal option, which Harris and Andes said they expect him to do. Falcone has expressed his willingness to stay on for another couple years, and DeGraw is looking at a similar timetable, Travato added. We have some sense their retirements are not imminent, Harris said, so we are not going to transition all those positions at one time, which is critical. Planning for these positions helps the city's limited budget. City staff has taken Friday furlough days for the last 2 years and did not get cost of living adjustments in 2010, according to the city's website. Police officers no longer take furlough days thanks to the 2009 Recovery Act grant, reports the city's website. One option being considered for further cost savings is outsourcing the duties of the city attorney when DeGraw retires, and it said, as well as combining the duties of the public works director with those of the city engineer. In addition to handling human resources, Andes also serves as the city finance director and risk manager. We've tried everything to keep the city a full-service city, Travato added. In a story written by Liz Keller of The Union, an 18-year-old woman pleaded no contest in Nevada County Superior Court to possession of stolen property and possession of drug paraphernalia after being arrested in connection with several Alta Sierra burglaries October 22nd. Erin Nicole Kirkham was sentenced Thursday afternoon to 10 days in jail and 3 years summary court probation. She also is subject to search and seizure terms and cannot be under the influence of a controlled substance or be in possession of drug paraphernalia or financial documents belonging to another person. Co-defendant Jackie Faith Hurtado, 24, of Grass Valley, pleaded not guilty to 3 counts of possession of stolen property, 1 count of possession of paraphernalia. A preliminary hearing was set for December 6th. Kirkham and Hurtado, along with a 16-year-old girl, were arrested after several residents of the 14,000 block of Stinson Drive called to report the trio were arguing near a vehicle and acting suspiciously. One caller reported seeing a handgun on the center console of the vehicle. Another caller reported a woman appeared drunk or on drugs, according to the dispatch reports. Hurtado allegedly told sheriff deputies that the other 2 women called and asked for a ride. Hurtado denied any knowledge of a gun, but allegedly told deputies her passenger might be in possession of a stolen property. Deputies searched the car and allegedly found a variety of items from several reported burglaries. Deputies also allegedly found a pellet handgun and drug paraphernalia. And in other court news, 2 Grass Valley men pleaded not guilty Thursday to possession of marijuana for sale and criminal conspiracy after allegedly setting up a pot buy with a Nevada County probation officer who dialed the number of one of the men by mistake. Shane Thielander Alvarez, 22, allegedly arranged a deal for $100 of marijuana. He allegedly only had a half ounce of pot, but allegedly told the undercover deputy his buddy was going to show up with the other half. Nicholas James Lockhart, 22, allegedly came to the gas station with the other half of the marijuana and also was arrested. Alvarez and Lockhart will be back in court December 1st. Preliminary hearing was scheduled for December 15th. And Jacob Michael Siegfried, 33, pleaded not guilty in court Thursday to deprivation of custody, stalking, criminal threats, making harassing phone calls, and intimidating a witness. Siegfried was arrested September 5th after a Penn Valley woman reported he had refused to bring back her child after a court-ordered visit. Siegfried allegedly told the woman he would take the 3-year-old boy to San Diego or Mexico and threatened to kill the woman and their son if she contacted law enforcement. He next will be in court 1 p.m. December 8th. And that's it today for our local news, GVTV News. I'd like to thank Associated Press, Reuters, Amy Goodman, the Union, and others for the sourcing of our news, and especially you for watching. And don't forget, we are broadcast 3 times a day on public access NCTV, Comcast Cable, Channel 11, and Sudden Link, Channel 16 in Truckee and Alta Sierra. 8 a.m., 3 p.m., 7:30 p.m., Monday through Friday, and random other times. Check the website for the schedule. We stream daily on NevadaCountyTV.org. Video on demand there, and also our websites, GVTV.org, and Grass Valley, well, let's see, what is the other one? I forgot it now. Well, anyway, I'll tell you tomorrow. We also post to Facebook, YouTube, Blip.tv, and free video podcast on iTunes. You can get us on smartphone, PSP, mini handheld devices, and we have RSS feed. Now we'd like to thank you with another underwriter who supports your only visual video news media in Nevada County. That's right, it's us, GVTV News. Christopher's Old World Deli and Catering Company has brought its delicious food and service downtown Grass Valley. Do you like desserts? They got them. You like international style lunches? They got them. Christopher's Deli and Catering for parties, get-togethers, weddings, or whatever. Open 7 days